All right, let's get into the task force. So it's known that you were on what people call the Greg Kading's Biggie task force. Can you explain a little bit how that task force was assembled and kind of what your responsibilities were involved with the task force?
Yeah, so Greg actually was smart in this aspect about putting together some of the people that were originally involved in the investigations of both Tupac and Biggie. Darren Dupree, probably the smartest guy I know when it comes to gangster rap, and that anybody you said anything about the gangster, the rap, Darren Dupree was very knowledgeable with it. He brought Timmy Brennan on from Compton PD, who is now with the Sheriff's Department, as well as myself and my partner Paul Fournier. Again, Timmy Brennan, Paul Fournier, and myself, and Bobby Ladd were involved originally after the Tupac murder with all the chaos that was going on in the Compton Linwood area. For those that don't know, Compton and Linwood butt up to one another, and it's really no hard borders there. So it was a war zone for a couple weeks after the murder. And as far as our responsibilities, and that I think it was Greg was counting on our knowledge of the players that were involved back in the 90s, because this was, 15 years after or so that this task force was assembled. So he was counting a lot on the knowledge as well as the reports and other things that we brought to the table.
Okay. And as part of that task force, did you guys look into Russell Poole's theory about the Biggie incident? And if so, what were your findings?
Are you talking about his initial theory with LAPD being part of the murder scheme, or the thing with the parks? I don't think that we ever did look into the park scenario where the murders, the plots happened, because that had not been devised yet by Russell Poole and the writer.
Yeah.
As far as the other theories with LAPD being involved, through the course of talking through the informants, and it seemed implausible that LAPD was involved with it, and that was the whole purpose for forming this, is based on the lawsuit that the Wallace family had with LAPD. That was my impression, was it was Greg's job to prove or disprove LAPD's involvement in that murder.
Yeah. And ironically enough, during investigating Biggie's murder, you guys stumble upon 2Pac's murder and actually get a confession out of him. Before we get into that actual proffer agreement and the confession with Keefe, can you explain what your thoughts were as you started to learn that Southside Compton Crips, and specifically Orlando, Dre, Keefe D, and them were involved with the Tupac case that you guys had investigated years and years back?
We had known about that, and especially Tim Brennan and Bobby Ladd. They probably knew within 24 hours who was in the car, the four guys in the white Cadillac. And then that was, I don't know if you knew this or not, but probably within a month after Tupac's murder, Timmy, Paul Fournier, and myself all went to Las Vegas to meet with their investigators to kind of lay out everything that had transpired in the Compton area after Tupac's murder, and what information was developed as a result, and who was involved with Tupac's murder.
Okay. And when you went and met with Vegas, did you get the sense, because I've heard conflicting things, did you get the sense, in your opinion, that they wanted to solve this? Or do you feel like it was something that they just didn't want that kind of negative attention on the city at the time?
Probably yes to both of the questions. When we first arrived, I think that they were very reluctant to trust us because of the implications of law enforcement being involved with death row security, officers from different agencies working for death row. So at first, I don't think they thought they could trust us. And then they realized we weren't out there fishing for information. We were out there to basically hand them their case. So I don't think that they went at it hard enough, in my professional opinion. And I know if this murder had happened in Compton or in Linwood in our jurisdiction, Compton PD, the gang guys there would have had no problem solving this, or in our agency's jurisdiction, we would not have a problem solving it. I think too much time had passed between this incident happening and Keefe getting arrested here a few months back. I don't believe that they were hell-bent on solving that case at that particular time.
Yeah. When you mentioned, connections between the police and death row, that's obviously Reggie you're referring to?
No, not just Reggie. There was guys from the sheriff's department that would work off duty. I believe LAPD and as Inglewood PD, I think, were the three agencies I had heard that were working off duty for them. I don't know who was there the night of the murders, but yeah, it wasn't just Compton police.